Good afternoon, esteemed guests, dear faculty, and our very lovely audience. It is the mark of an undying tradition to invoke the God Almighty at the commencement of an important event. As rightfully said, the function of prayer is not that to influence God, but rather to change the nature of the one who prays. So let us all begin our event with the Saraswati Vandana.
या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रान्विता या वीणां वरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेत पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा पूजिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा
Wow, that truly brought in the warmth and positivity to begin our event. I am Hani Rathi, and it is my greatest pleasure and and foremost duty to welcome you all to this extravagant live virtual industry visit, organized by the students of and faculties of BCom Honors. I assure you that this program will be full of exuberance and excitement. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce the woman who has been a constant source of support and encouragement. She has been associated with Mitibai College for 31 years. She is an all rounder, along with being a consultant for projects with pharmaceutical companies, and is on board of studies of several reputed autonomous colleges. She possesses great leadership skills, and her achievements in services in the education sector are truly remarkable. She I would love to welcome our dearest in charge principal ma'am, Dr. Kritika Desai, and request her to please deliver the inaugural address.
Good afternoon
Good
to
afternoon, ma'am.
all dear students and your faculty, your in charges of your program, the BCom honors, Dr. Vijay Satra, Dr. Bharat Patel, Vice Principal, and the other faculty. It is a different way we are having an industry visit. Uh, when we are talking about the education, I think in every talk, I always tell students, and I will keep on telling, that your academics or your studies is never completed in a classrooms. When we are talking about the studies, it is the overall development. It is not the literacy, it is the education. So when we talk about the education, we want our students, when they go out in this real world, they know what exactly is required. In that, co-curricular activities are required. Your curriculum should be industry linked. So industry academia linkages has to be there. You should be aware that how the industry functions, how what exactly, it is not the classroom. You're maybe having your accountancy, you must be doing your accountancy, you must be doing a final accounts. You can solve the exams, but I feel that every student should go to the offices, maybe any a small, big, or whatever, and try to read the balance sheet of those institutes where you have not, you are not primed. So in that case, you have to understand what exactly. I'm not a commerce person, so I will not know balance sheet per se. But the basic accountancy, when I say that, when I read, I should be able to understand. When you be able to understand the balance sheet of the companies or offices, then I think we have done our job. So our job, I always say that our job is to initiate the critical thinking. Now, therefore, industry visits can be industry visits, or the in case of the sciences, visit to various parks or the natural resources, all various types of where the learning happens actually in the natural environment. So industry visit is essential for all the students. And it is also essential for the faculty, so that when they are making the curricula, they integrate the component of the industry requirement. We are in such a situation at this point of time that we can't go to industry. There's social distancing. The students have hesitations to coming to the college. So in industry visit is out of question. So I want to check, if we have an actual visit, how many students will like to go? This is very, very important. All right. So how many of you would be interested in going to the industries if the industry allows you? So these are the problems we are facing. 2 years, this, all of you children, you are facing, you are not getting the true exposure that how the industry functions, because many of the offices are doing work from home. Many of the offices still doing alternate days. So internships are also challenging. You're doing an internship from home. So somehow I feel internship doing from home is not doing a complete role. When you go for industries for the internships, you're not learning only the subject, you're also learning the human interactions. You're also learning the human values. You'll also learn that how should you present yourself when you are in absolutely uncomfortable zone. Your college, your home is always a comfort zone. When you go to companies, you are absolutely in a different environment. And how do you deal? If you can do that, it is fantastic. You may not realize now that, yes, I have learned. You may be observer, but in observation also you learn a lot of things. You may not realize now, you will realize a few years later. All right. So therefore it is essential. And in this, if doctor has come with a virtual visit, it is fantastic. And I hope students will see that. And even I would like to see the virtually industry. It's an interesting industry. Ice cream factory. Who would not like to see? All right. So I congratulate the your Vijay Satra, Dr. Bharat Patel, Dr. Vijay Satra, Dr. Bharat Patel, other faculty and the students for a thing. It is out of box thinking that we can have a virtual visit also. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your words of wisdom. We are really fortunate to have your guidance and support with us. Thank you so much. Now, without taking much of your time, let's sink into the depths of fun. I like to start by telling you all a little about Apsara Ice Creams. Apsara Ice Creams started its journey at the prime location of South Mumbai in 1971, founded by two brothers named Chand Shah and Jayant Shah. It was in 2014 when the second generation entered the business and elevated it to new heights by commencing 4 new stores in Mumbai's prime locations, that is Powai, Andheri, Lokhandwala, and King Circle. and later shifting the focus to a franchisee-based model. Apsara Ice Creams today has come a long way with an amazing range of 50 plus flavors and 125 plus outlets. Apsara Ice Creams completed its 50th anniversary on 22nd August 2021. Now, I like to start inviting our first guest. We are absolutely honored to have with us today the managing partner of Apsara Ice Creams. He is Lucknow alumni and has earlier worked in Procter and Gamble in Singapore. He is at the helm of strategic and marketing decisions of the company and has led the brand's retail expansion to more than 100 outlets pan India under the franchising model. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Kiran Shah. Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Is my video and audio visible and audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you for the very warm introduction, Hani. And first of all, I would like to thank SVKM and the BCom's committee, the faculty for having us for this session. As Principal Madam Ms. Krutika Desai mentioned earlier, that this is a very challenging situation, and ideally we would want to have an industrial visit in the premises, actual looking at live machines, live processes, interacting in the premises, but such has been the nature for the past 2 years that we have all been confined to our screens, and now it's all within the screens of our laptops, computers, and mobiles. But we have to keep up with the times, and I think it's a wonderful out-of-box thinking by the BCom's committee and led by Dr. Vijay Satra to have a virtual industrial visit. Like ma'am mentioned earlier, that everybody has been working from home, doing work remotely. Now this is a new concept where we are actually seeing an entire industry live, sitting in the comfort of our home. So that's something really wonderful, and we are very happy to be a part of this experience for all the students. Just a quick background about me. Of course, Hani, you mentioned my background.
Yes.
I am also an SVKM alumni. So I've done my engineering from DJ Sanghvi College of Engineering back in 2006. I passed out. I did my BE in electronics. After that, I worked in the IT sector, for a couple of years. Then joined IIM Lucknow, completed my MBA. Again, joined PNG Singapore in the marketing department. That was a very wonderful experience as well, and has helped me a lot in my own business of Apsara Ice Creams. Joined the family business. This is our family business. So I've joined it in 2014 along with my brother, and from there we've started the journey of expanding the brand from one outlet, which was there in Walkeshwar since 1971, to now more than 125 outlets pan India. We are present in almost 20 cities now, and in 8 states. We did face a bit of slowdown in the past couple of years, which has been extremely challenging. But I think challenging times bring out the survival qualities of human beings, and it's always survival of the fittest, as Charles Darwin has said. So in the past couple of years, we've also had different challenges. We've come up with different solutions, and we've managed to hopefully pass the most critical 2 years of COVID, and looking forward to having the upcoming summer season, where generally there is a lot of ice cream consumption. People like to have ice creams in summers. So that is something which we are looking forward to. So that's something about myself. I have prepared a small video clip about the brand, the journey, how it has been from 1971 to now. So I think we can play that for all the students, and let's see the journey of Apsara Ice Cream so far.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That sounds amazing. Let us start. Wow, it must be a matter of prestige to be a part of the company. I'm certain that you all enjoyed the video just as much as I did. So,
Yeah.
now I like,
So
yeah, sorry,
one
sir,
second.
sorry.
So
Yeah,
basically, all of you saw what products we make. So we make ice creams, we make kulfis, we make sorbets. We also have sugar-free range, and all of these are made from fresh fruits, real stuff. There is no artificial flavor. There is no preservative. There is completely 100% natural. So that is what makes Apsara ice cream so unique. And of course, I'm sure a lot of you must have tried and had Apsara ice creams as well. You would remember, you would know us for our famous guava ice cream with the masala on top, or some unique
yeah.
flavors like pani puri. So all of this, that PPT must sound so tempting. So now why don't we do something? Then why not we just head down and see how these ice creams are made? Let's go over to the virtual factory visit.
Wow, that sounds so exciting. But before we do that, I'd like to call upon the designated partner of Apsara Ice Creams. He is a doctor by qualification. He looks after the manufacturing and pan India distribution operations from the factory. He has developed a strict quality control and contactless semi automated manufacturing process in the wake of the pandemic to ensure all the products are completely safe. Please welcome Dr. K. Shah. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Hi, everyone. Am I audible, Ani?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, hi. Myself, Dr. Shah, MBBS by profession, and I would just like to say that many of the guys looking at our video, at our speeches, they must be amazed. What is this? Yeah, एक engineer है, एक doctor है. So how come they come into this profession? So for those people, I would like to say that degrees, qualification, etc., does not matter at all. It is upon you. It is your the goals that you see, the dreams that you dream, and yeah, it's exactly. So please do not feel that you are not that capable of doing things, and it is like destiny. It took us, both brothers from different fields, various engineering and MBBS doctor fields, and we have entered into our family business. So yes, and I think principal ma'am and Kiran have almost given a brief introduction of everything. So let's not
Yes,
waste time and let's enter the factory right away.
sure.
Friends, welcome to the world of Apsara history. I will be guiding you through the entire process in brief. Basically, there are four main processes in the manufacturing of ice cream, which are milk boiling, that we in our terms call as pasteurization, raw material processing, blending of the two semi-finished goods, as it is journal, packaging and dispatch. So, I'll be going through the processes step by. First step, as you can see, is the milk boiling process. Milk which is being undergo the series of laboratory tests at our in-house laboratory. Adulteration, if any, can be picked up at this cell. According to this, quality of ice cream is our motto. We cannot let compromise that quality. All the equipment are cleaned thoroughly with hot water during the pasteurization process. Milk which is received is filtered through a fine sieve to check for any foreign objects, dust particles, etc. if present. Milk is then pasteurized at 7 for 40 minutes between the pathogens and using producing organisms that instantly cooled at 5 degrees Celsius, again which helps in selection or formation of new organisms. The milk is then homogenized at a pressure of 3000 psi giving a permanent and uniform suspension of the fat molecule. You can see the pasteurization tank and the homogenizer. Homogenization gives a smooth texture and a whipping ability to the ice cream. After that, the milk is poured in aging tanks. They are fully energized with a 1,000 liter of capacity. Now, boiling the milk is not the only part that we have to look upon. The cleaning is equally important. The cleaning process starts with hot cleaning, after which it is followed with alkali water, which removes the residual particles and lines, and finally with acid for neutralizing the pH of all and removing the sticky completely. This three-step cleaning process is called CIP, cleaning in place, so that cleaning is done without dismantling any equipment. The entire factory and all units are locked with access devices. Only the authorized person with access cards can enter the processing units. Now, as we enter the raw material section, you can see we procure only the best quality of fruits, dry fruits, chocolates, etc. from standard and reliable vendors who are able to meet our quality control parameters. Again, these all are checked in our in-house laboratory for the standard checkpoints. Fruits are received, checked, sorted as per the criteria like ripeness, sugar contents, spoilage, etc. They are first sanitized by food grade chemicals to clean the surface bacteria, then cut, chopped, and deseeded as required. As a mandatory protocol, we have to sanitize our hands every 2 hours. We also make a point that we wash our hands with soap and water at frequent intervals. Now, we enter the production area and the unit everyone must be waiting for to see how actual ice cream is made. Ice cream is made in churners, which are called as batch freezers. Each batch freezer has a production capacity of 1,000 kilograms per day. The poached fruits, as we saw in the previous unit, are weighed as per the recipe and put in the batch freezer. Pasteurized milk, as on the milk boiling section, this again is weighed and put, and it is poured into the batch freezer. The exact recipe and formulation of all the flavors is the key to tickle your taste buds and give you a proper mouth feel and an enjoyment to have a cup full of ice cream. The batch freezer is then started at a pre-fixed set points like time, temperature, rotations per minute, which is RPM, which gives the texture of the ice cream. Extraction happens at -5 to -7 degrees Celsius. So as you can see, the extraction is happening, and this is the ice cream that we serve to you guys. The entire batch of 20 kilograms, that is the batch size per batch freezer, is extracted in stainless steel containers. Now this ice cream is again tested in our laboratory to check the nutritional values as per the FSSAI norms. FSSAI is the governing body of all food related products. So we have to match their norms. The ice cream is then filled in food grade containers. They are weighed as per the actual weight, as per the declaration. The filled ice cream is labeled, proper lid is attached to it, which are seal proof. They are then collected in food grade plastic crates. The essential details is noted for every batch, like the manufacturing date, batch number, etc., which helps in our internal record maintenance and product recall, if any, in future. This is the hardening room. Ice cream which is filled in the containers is then transferred to the hardening room, which maintains a temperature of -35 to -40 degrees Celsius. This again is an important step which improves the shelf life of the ice cream. The filled crates are then transferred to the cold rooms after 4 to 5 hours of hardening. Now, as you can see the cold room, in the cold room, the ice creams are stacked flavor-wise on racks, which makes it easy for us to maintain the stock in hand records and also simple for dispatching of the ice creams to stores. The person handling the cold room has to wear an insulated jacket, gloves, woolen caps, woolen socks to make his work much easier, which actually is a very difficult job. The finished goods are then packed in insulated boxes with dry ice, in which the temperature is maintained at -25 degrees Celsius, and we can attain this temperature for a good 36 to 48 hours till the time they can reach the respective outlets pan-India. The ice cream are then loaded in our factory vehicles and dispatched to specific areas. Here you can see the fascia of our factory. So as we enter the factory, in COVID, we have got strict norms that we have to check the temperatures of every person who comes in. We have got a reception cum waiting area. This is the dispatch section and the reception and the admin area, a conference, and the director's cabin, where you guys will see me seated. Thank you everyone.
Wow. I'm sure that was an eye-opener for most of us here. And I think that the students got a clear picture about the inner workings of the company, almost as if we were really present there. So, sir, to make the most of your presence here, I have a few questions prepared for the both of you. And is it okay if we dive right into them?
Yes, please. Let's do that.
All right. So, the first question we have for you is, what was the mission and vision of the company when it first started, and has it changed over the course of time?
So when Apsara Ice Creams started in 1971, it was not really Apsara Ice Creams, right? At that time, it was Apsara, where along with ice cream, there were a lot of other things which were sold in their store. Fruit juices were sold, snacks were sold, and over a period of time, it evolved into actually a kind of a fast food joint till the early 2000s, where ice creams was also part of the menu, but apart from that, food and other food items were mainly what Apsara was known for till then. Ice cream was sold in retail at the store, and most of the sales was happening in a B2B format, a business to business format, like catering, events, all those things,
Wow.
and retail sales was very small. Uh, However, if you want to grow a business, there are certain things which you should take a call as a company. The call which we took was that if you want to scale, if you want to have more stores across India, you cannot take food along. You have to focus on what you are good at or what your strength lies in. At that time, the strength was clearly in making handcrafted premium ice creams using real fruits, dry fruits, no flavors. Apsara was known for these kind of ice creams. People from all over the
Yes.
town used to would to drive to that old outlet in Valkeshwar for their cup, and cars were parked outside the store, and we used to have services in the car. So we decided this is what we should focus on. Also, when you look at expanding at a national level, standardization of quality becomes very important. So you would have probably seen when you go to have food in your favorite restaurant, if a chef changes or that chef is not there for a day, there will be a slight difference in taste in the food. You might notice it कि
Yeah.
आज शायद ये सांबर का टेस्ट थोड़ा सा अलग है, या आज ये
Yes.
पनीर का सब्जी का टेस्ट थोड़ा सा अलग है, right? So having a skilled manpower becomes very important in a food business, whereas with ice cream we could manufacture it centrally, where will the taste, quality, hygiene, everything can be standardized, and the parlor simply have to sell what they get from the factory. So this model was scalable, this model was sustainable, which is why at that time we decided that we are going to cut down on the food part, and we are going to have only ice cream, and of course other products like kulfi, shakes, sugar free
Yes.
as a part of our overall portfolio. And then with that, the mission was now to serve the best quality premium handcrafted ice creams to customers all over India. So that's how the vision and mission, and of course the business model, has evolved since 1971.
Wow. So actually, what you mentioned during your answer, that is also related to my next question. Uh, like you said, your ice creams, Apsara ice creams, was your star product, and then you shifted the focus to only ice creams and then other products that you also have. So, could you share a few tactics that you used to market your business, and which tactics have been most successful?
So when we talk about marketing, the main purpose of marketing is twofold. One is to make your products tried and tested by new customers, which is called as the trial.
Yes.
And second is called as the repeat. Once your customer has tried that product, if they like it, if they love it, if they find value for money, they will repeat order, right? So
Yes.
trial and repeat are these are the two most important objectives for any marketing tactic which you do. There are multiple marketing tactics over a period of time which we have done. I'll probably share two or three most interesting examples. So in 2014, when we started opening multiple outlets, the moment we started going out of Valkeshwar, where we had been there for so many years, and we go to a place like Apavai or a Matunga, where people don't really know the brand, right? Most of
Yes.
the people living in Powai have not heard of Apsara ice creams. So the number one
Oh,
challenge when you open in a new location is how do you get people to come to the store and try this?
right.
So 2014, 2015, those were the early days when Zomato as an app, Zomato had started, and then it was mainly a food discovery and rating platform. Right now, it's of course there's much more to it. You
Yes.
can order food on Zomato as well, but at that time it was mainly about food discovery and rating and letting people know of new places nearby. So what we did was we reached out to a lot of these influencers, the Zomato influencers. We called them to the store. We gave them tasting sessions. We asked them to rate and review our stores on Zomato, on
All
social
right.
media. And within, let's say, a month's time, we were the highest rated outlet in Powai with a Zomato rating of almost 4.8 at that time.
Wow.
And
Wow.
immediately it caught the attention of many people that, oh hey, there's a new ice cream parlor which is actually putting masala on top of its ice cream. They are serving pani puri ice cream. Let's go. So this became viral, and people started coming and they tasted the ice cream. They loved the concept. And then of course, if your product is good, then for repeat you should not have to spend a lot on marketing. So once the people came, they tried. Next time they definitely wanted more of it, which is why our tagline is also can't get over it. So you can't get over Apsara ice cream once you
True.
have one scoop, right? So that was one. Uh, the second thing which we have done, this is mainly in the pandemic, is we've seen that a lot of people have now shifted to ordering food, ordering desserts at home. Stepping out is difficult. You have fear of contacting COVID, and of course there are
Yes.
government guidelines that you cannot go out at night. And ice cream is primarily a night product. You want to have ice cream
Yes.
after dinner, right? So that was the biggest challenge, and we were mainly dependent on Swiggy and Zomato. Whereas over so many years, we've had a large database of our own customers, who know Apsara ice cream, who want to order Apsara ice creams. So why should you ask them to order on Swiggy or Zomato? So we created a loyalty program for them where the more you eat, the more points you earn, and then of course later on you can
Okay.
redeem it at any Apsara store pan India. So now people are
Uh,
talking about, hey, I have 5,000 points, I'll get a free tub of Apsara ice cream, and I can redeem it. They will refer it to their friends and family, and they'll get more points. And more importantly, we developed our own online ordering platform where you can directly place the order and get your ice creams without going to any other app. Uh, of course, there have been a lot of other marketing activities which we have been doing, but as I said, the most important thing for any brand or any company as you grow is how do you reach out to as many customers as possible, make them try your product. This is a product company, we are not a services company, so you will have to taste it, you will have to see it, which is why they are so attractive, colorful, and the freezer displays are filled with wonderful colors of ice cream. So it's a multi-sensory experience, and once your customer will try the product, and then your product has to speak for itself. So that's what
Truly.
marketing at Apsara ice creams has been for all these years.
Wow, that sounds amazing, and that was so insightful. Thank you so much, sir. Expansion of your brand or company.
Sorry, did you ask another question?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sorry, there's some network issues. Can you
So
please repeat
my
it?
question. Yes, sir. No problem. So, what are the challenges that you faced during the expansion of your brand or company?
Mm, I think I would like to answer that question.
Yeah.
There were multiple challenges getting into the ice cream industry from two different aspects, like the engineering and the MBBS. Itself was a huge challenge for us in the initial days, but we somehow overcome it, and it was a family business, so we did not have much difficulties. The second challenge that we faced were getting franchise in the initial phases of expansion. People were not that convinced, they were not aware about the brand, so it was getting a bit difficult for them to have faith on the brand, investing a huge amount in a brand which was localized to South Bombay, I would say. So to overcome challenges, we started to setting up our own company outlets initially. So as you said, we had our branches in Powai, Lokhandwala, all the prime locations which had
Yes.
marketing uh, and view perspective as well. People came to those joints, they came to us, they saw us, they tasted our products, the unique products, the guava with masala, pani puri, etc. So somehow we overcame that, and people, they willingly came to us that we want your franchise. So that's how our franchise module started. After that, having so many franchise in
Oh,
the manufacturing again was a challenge. There were space constraints. We had to move to a bigger facility as soon as possible. We had to scale up our production unit. We had to get more flavors. People usually want something different whenever they enter a parlor. So these were the few challenges. Again, when we started having franchisee out of Mumbai, transportation again become a challenge. So
yes.
we cannot have multiple units in all the cities. So we started brainstorming as to how to transport the ice creams from a central unit pan India. So that again took a lot of brainstorming session, and finally we came up with some solutions to that as well. Uh, and I would say funding also became a problem. So
Right.
these were the challenges, and we took it step by step, and finally we have reached to this position.
Wow. That is so inspiring, sir. And also, like you mentioned, you had to come up with unique flavors. And two of the most unique and different flavors you Apsara ice creams have is, I guess, the pani puri one and the guava one, I guess. Right? Wow. And they are truly amazing and delicious. So moving on to the next question that I have for both of you is that Kiran sir is from IIM Lucknow and Keyur sir has done MBBS. So do your ideas ever clash? And if so, how do you come to a consensus or conclusion?
That is actually a difficult question to answer. Clash of ideas have always been there, and I would say not just specifying the MBBS and an engineering perspective. I think clash
Yes,
of ideas happens at each and every setup for each and every business, and that is the factor that I would say brings out the best out of everyone.
true,
So yes, there are many clashes in ideas, but the main point that has to be taken into consideration is the vision. The company's vision has to be that strong, that powerful, that whatever clash it might be, we have to be focused to achieve the goals that we have set up. And definitely the vision, which I would say was seen by my brother Kiran, and we have together uh, joined hands, and we have started uh, to fulfill this vision and accomplish the goals.
wow, amazing. That is so amazing to hear, sir.
This,
Yes,
Hani, I would just like to add on this. I think this is a very important question from the point of view that no two minds think alike, right? And a
yes,
company is made up of people. Here we are talking about two founders or second generation, but apart from that, there are also many people at senior positions in Apsara Ice Creams, where there
right,
are a lot of ideas. And so the point to keep in mind, and this is something which I would like to tell all the students, is that you should identify what are your strengths. Every person has a unique role to play in the company. The company has to identify that what is it that this particular individual brings to the table. What are the strengths of
true,
this person at whatever role he is in. Define that particular scope in the organization, and then trust and believe that this person will do the best in this role. That is one of the best ways to avoid conflict. However, conflict is inevitable, and as long as the boat is moving
true.
in the same direction, constructive feedback is always a positive step.
That is so true, sir. Thank you so much. Moving on to the next question. My question is again to you, Kiran sir. How was the experience and education that you received from IIM Lucknow helped you in your business?
I think it helped my business later. First, it helped PNG, where I joined after finishing my MBA from IIM Lucknow. Uh, at that point of time, the colleges were as normal. So you had people in the colleges, and I in my batch there were 400 students, plus we had a junior batch of 400 students. So there were almost 800 people in the campus, and all of these people
Oh,
are very brilliant. They have all cracked the most difficult MBA exam in India, which is the CAT, and they have made it to the IIM. So education always takes the shape of a pyramid, right? You start at
right,
school, and you want to be a topper in your school, and then when you go to college, the best colleges in India will see the junior colleges will see almost all the toppers from this school come together in that college. Then when you go for
right,
post graduation, you will see all toppers and high rankers from each of these undergrad colleges again compete at a postgraduate level, and eventually from those people you will be
right,
sitting for your final placements and want to get the best possible package and the best possible profile, right? So it's
right,
always a pyramid. You will have to keep performing and keep eliminating competition if you want to keep rising at the top. So at IIM, more than the curriculum, of course, textbook learning and concepts are all fine. But I would say that at an MBA from such a prestigious institute, the best learning happens from your peers. You know, you have a lot of brilliant mind studying with you, sharing the same classroom.
True.
You get to spend time with them. You get to participate in a lot of co-curricular activities. In fact, when I was in IIM, I started a small business of a cafe in the campus as well. So I started making some money while I was studying itself, and that was another experience altogether, where I had to manage food, I had to manage my inventory, I had to manage staff, I had to manage the accounts, I had to go door to door and ask for payments from my own colleagues. So that was another big learning curve on how to manage a business at a small level of only 800 customers. And now at Apsara Icecreams, we have a database of almost 5 lakh customers. So that's the
Wow.
transition. And then, yes, I think formal education and a classroom education, a degree does help you to a certain extent, but
Yes.
it's always your aptitude and your knack of learning, which we should never
True.
stop, and we should always keep redefining your output, yourself, wherever you go. Learn from your past and then apply to make a better future and build a better career for yourself.
True. That is so true, sir. Thank you so much, sir. I That was absolutely amazing and inspiring. So the last question that I have for you both is that where do you see your company in the coming 5 years or after 5 years?
The top 10 ice cream brands in India, I suppose. That is what was written in the corporate presentation as well. So we would definitely want ourselves placed in the top 10 ice cream industries brands in India. Uh, the second goal that we see to achieve in 5 years is having 500 plus outlets, franchise, pan India, going to the tier 2, tier 3 cities. We have been still focusing on the metros as of now. So we just want to have a wider range of distribution. We also would like to have a wider range of products coming off from the ice cream, sorbet, sugar free. Definitely would have something added to our kitty in the product range as well. And definitely going global is one more thing that we see in the coming 5 years.
Wow, sir. Sir, we also hope and wish the same for you. And we wish to see Apsara Ice Creams in the top 10 global ice cream companies as well. So I am sure that after our
For that, you will have
conversation,
to have a scoop of Apsara ice cream every day, and everybody who's watching this presentation.
will do, sir, will do, surely. So, sir, thank you so much. And it was an honor to have you with us today. But before we end, I am sure that after our conversation, the audience too is waiting to interact with you. So, can we take a bunch of questions from them as well?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So, the first question that I have from the audience is that how do you expand your branch from one to many? How did you expand? I'm sorry. How did you expand?
How did we expand from one to many?
Yes, one to so many of now.
Okay, one outlet at a time.
Wow.
So
That
I think,
yes,
yeah. So I think what people want to know is how do you build a multi-outlet brand, or how do you build a brand which
yes,
has so many outlets, right? Within a short span of time, if I may add, we have done this in only 5 years. So there is no fixed formula, but there is definitely some strategy thinking which has to go behind it. So when we started, we were only one outlet in Balkeshwar, right? And we have been there for a while, so people know and people are our regular customers. Now, if you
yes,
want to go into a model where you are going to have multiple outlets, of course, first in Mumbai, that's our home city, that's where the brand started, and then to other cities of India. You need to first identify, and this is where the concepts of marketing helped me a bit.
Yes.
In marketing, there is a concept of 4 P's of marketing: product, price, place, and promotion. Right?
Right.
These 4 P's are extremely important when you want to define your brand's strategy, when you want to grow. What is the product going to be? So we defined ourselves as ice cream which are made with real fruits, dry fruits, and there are no artificial flavors. The next P is the price. So what are we going to price ourselves at? Whenever you talk about pricing, there is always some competitor benchmarking which is there in the market or the industry which
Right.
you need to follow. For us, that brand was natural ice cream, because this is something which is very similar to what natural ice creams is also there and very well known for in the market. So that is the
True.
second P. The third P is the place, the place where you sell. In marketing or sales terminology, you can either sell it online or offline. Offline is your brick and mortar store, which is your parlor, and online is the e-commerce platforms like Swiggy and Zomato. So what should be the strategy when you select a location? You need to first identify that Powai is a good location or Andheri is a good location, and
Right.
within you need to identify the right spot where your customer is going to come. Right? One of the differences in the place strategy for a QSR like us versus a fine dining is that the location is very important. So you can, for example, you have to be at the ground floor. You have to be on the main road. The visibility has to be very
Yes.
important. Versus, for example, let's say you go to any fine dine restaurant where you know that this is something which is very, you will probably go searching for that place. Right? So for QSR, it's very important to have the right location strategy. Fourth P comes to promotion. Any marketing business needs promotional activities. We've also, I can discuss that in the second question which we had asked. So we have to do a lot of marketing mix, whether it comes to digital marketing, which is more trending these days. A lot of people are on social media. A lot of
Yes.
people spend time on Facebook, Instagram, watching content online. So that is something where we need to have our brand presence and tell people that what is Apsara ice cream, how can you buy, what are the different flavors. Uh, so 4 P's of marketing is something which we developed, and based on that, we started 4 company outlets in Mumbai. Once the model was successful, then we decided that we are going to have third-party franchising where people who are not within the family can invest money in the business, and they can open up an ice cream parlor.
Yes.
Uh, uh, I would recommend everybody to read a book which is called 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. Uh, in a nutshell, the premise of that book is that the most important part is going from 0 to 1. Once you have done that, going from 1 to n will be very easy. So the question someone had asked, that how did you make so many outlets? The challenge was to have those first few outlets when you go from 0 to 1. And once that model is successful, going 1 to n, it will just be a matter of time. I think I will recommend everybody to read that book 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. And I hope that answers the question.
Yes, that truly answered the question, and I am sure that audience is taking notes of the same. So, sir, another question that we have from the audience is that um, what was the process and cost to start a franchisee of Apsara ice cream?
Is that a question or a business inquiry?
I'm sure somebody is really curious from the audience.
So basically, for any, I think we have a dedicated section on our website about how franchising at Apsara Ice Cream works, but I'll just give a brief about it.
Yes.
When you talk about putting money and investing in any franchise, whether Apsara or any other brand, there are 3-4 important things which can come under the cost part. One is, of course, there is the brand franchise fee which you need to pay for using the exclusive rights of selling products under the brand name. Second is the infrastructure cost, like if you want to open an Apsara store, let's say
Yes.
in near NM College, so that everybody of all students can go and have an ice cream there. By the way, we do have a store in Ville Parle West near the station, so you all can go there. So you have to identify the store, and you have to do the interiors. You have to invest in machinery like freezers, billing equipment. So there is a certain cost associated with that. Then the other overheads such as deposit for that location, rentals, all of these come put together come to around a certain figure. So that figure is what you need to have with you, and generally it should be self-funded. so that you don't have the added pressure of a bank EMI or bank loan, because in tough times like COVID, you would want to fall back upon your savings first, then pile on more debt, right? So with this kind of a funding, you can start an Apsara ice cream stores. And then of course, if you all are account students, you all must be knowing of there are two types of break even. One is an operational break even, and there is a capital capex break even, opex break even, and capex break even. So generally you would want to have your opex break even, let's say within the first 3 to 6 months, and the overall capital break even which you have invested in this business would take somewhere between 18 to 24 months, which is also called as a payback period in terms of the franchising lingo. So I think that's a process of going about any franchise business, not just Apsara, but any franchise business.
Wow. So I am sure that the audience has their answer to that question. And uh, lastly, I have this last question for the both of you from the audience. That what is the future? What do you think is the future of the food processing industry in India? I'm
Future, I
sorry.
would say, is
Yeah.
very bright. Be it a COVID or be it a normal situation, be it a summer, be it winters, people are actually foodies. No wonder we have got so many joints placed everywhere. I would
True.
just not say Mumbai, I would say Indore, Jaipur, Ahmedabad, etc., etc. All the cities would have many food joints. So people are very foodie. They love eating food. They love experimenting. They love trying new food joints time and again. So definitely, the food industry is one of the most happening industry in the current era in this period of time. So definitely, if some of the students they want to invest or want to have their own food joint or their food businesses, can definitely I give a thumbs up to them.
Uh, Thank you so much, sir.
And
Yes.
adding on to this, I think I will say there are two major changes which are happening, and they are already happening right now. One is people have started becoming more health conscious in the wake of the pandemic, and especially with more people being at home and being aware of what is going inside their stomach. People are becoming very health conscious. So going forward, I see that this industry is going to have a lot more focus on healthy foods. For example, foods which are
Right.
low in calorie, foods which have zero sugar in it, foods which have high protein or probiotic features. So I think
Yes.
in the next 5 years, you will see a lot more options which are healthy. You will have the same burger, but you will have a healthier burger. You will have a same pizza, but you will have a gluten-free bread and
True.
a plant-based milk rather than a dairy. So this is number one. Number two, I think the sales model is also going to evolve, and you are going to see a lot of brands selling more directly online. So yes, of course, you want to go out and have food, but that trend will slowly become a bit more towards ordering food at home, and you will see the concept of cloud kitchens, which
Yes.
will proliferate, and a lot of food products will be sold through these dark kitchens where you will just place an order and you will have the food at home. The dining experience will not be there, but at the same time, it will help you to penetrate a lot many customers through the power of the internet. So I think these two things are very important and are going to play a big role in the food industry in future.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, sir. And that was truly an amazing, insightful session. Thank you so much for all the amazing answers. And I am sure the audience has had a lot to learn today. Um, Also, two things I have taken note of, and I am going to do after this session is one, a scoop of Apsara ice cream, and second, getting that book, Zero to One. I guess that is what you mentioned. Yeah. So great. So thank you so much, sir. It was both a pleasure and an honor to have you as our guest today. And before we end, I'd like to address to the audience. Well, ladies and gentlemen, an event like this cannot happen overnight. The wheels start rolling weeks before. I would like to invite the man behind today's industry visit, having a blend of teaching and industry experience of more than 35 years and has traveled across the globe. CA Dr. Vijay Satra sir, Program Director, BCom Honors, MITI by NNM, to please propose the vote of thanks.
Yeah, it was nice to meet Kiran and Dr. KU virtually. Kiran and KU, you can put the video on so that we can have a chat with each other. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Kiran, virtually.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, KU, virtually. And the idea of industrial visit was always there. 2 years back, when the COVID did not happen, we wanted to visit certain factories for some reason or other reason. We just keep on postponing, and the COVID came, and everything, the study, especially the academic part, went online. And we were just waiting. And the idea of this virtual industrial visit was already there in my mind. And we were searching the industries which should be simple to understand. Like 1971, your parent and uncle started the business with one store, as many as first 43 years, 1971 to, I suppose 2014. A big period of 43, 44 years, one store, and suddenly something happened. We don't know what is that something happened. And then in the short span of 7 to 8 years, we had 140 plus, I suppose as on today, outlet, 125 plus outlet, 8 states, 20 cities. And one wonderful, a product to satisfy the taste bud, and to have it here. Of course, we could virtually see how the ice cream are made, how finest ingredients are used, what care is taken to see that the product reaches in a perfect way, the way in which we want it to reach, and of course that too in a healthy manner, very less contact as far as possible of the human. And it was a wonderful master class, I will use this word. It was not only this, industry visit. We really, as a student of honors, BCom, Narsimonji College and Mitibai College, who normally we as a student are not so much interested in normal academic lecture, whether it be me or anybody else. But here, hundreds of students have listened to you patiently, motivated you. You have really motivated us and inspired us. The challenge will be in the beginning, like 0 to 1 is a greater challenge. And once you successfully demonstrate your 0 to 1, then 1 to many will not be that challenging, because the experience what you had in 0 to 1 will really help you to, overcome or cope up with all 1 to many when we go. It was wonderful. This type of program, of course, needs a lot of preparation, and weeks and days have gone. And thanks to the management of our Narsimonji College and Mitibai College principal, in-charge principal, Dr. Krutika Desai is always very much, inspirational to all this novel idea of having whatever we do best for the student. Dr. Parag Achkankar of Narsimonji College also supports us. Our vice principal, beloved vice principal, chartered accountant, Dr. Bharat Patel. There it is Dr. Nirmala Chavan, and each and every faculty member of both the college, Narsimonji, Mitibai. Every student, I tell you, for me, the backbone are the student. I tell you honestly, I have to just throw the idea to my, dedicated technical team and the dedicated stalwarts. I will use now. Now they are no more the students. In fact, they are almost a professional person, right from designing the brochure to hosting the event. They are expert, and they have set a standard for themselves. And we have to see that every event surpasses the previous event. And we are really pleased to announce that this event was just wonderful. And I really thank all my technical team, the staff member here, the Nimura team here, the professors, the teachers who were there. And it was just, any business like this or any probably other business, there'll be always like old generation and the new generation, like bide bolte hamare zamane mein, and like it is a tumhare zamane mein. And things, however, always help. In fact, it must be a very you are in the second generation. Your parents were the actual founder. In the first 1 or 2 years, aap bata sakte, Kiran and Kayur, how was the experience in the first 2 years? because probably your parents must be thinking इनको कुछ आता नहीं है, that degree has no meaning, because they had built up for 40 years hard work, hard-earned money, and then you want to, in their view, blow out the money on something like marketing. So how was your experience in the first 2 years?
The first, I would say not even years. The first 6 months were the most difficult phase in my life. I could recall my days in PNG when I joined my first company, and my boss was so senior to me, used to take my case on every small mistake I used to make. And now this effectively was the second company which I joined, and now this is a family-owned business, and the boss is my dad and my uncle. So you can imagine that every small mistake is going to be amplified that much more, and the pressure of proving to an outsider, or a pressure of proving to an insider, a parent, a family is much more than the pressure of proving it to an outsider. Especially when you are asking your parents for their hard-earned money to put at stake. So this is a very conservative business model which we have disrupted and taken to this level in the past 6 to 7 years. The first 6 months were extremely challenging. I will give one small example that in the cash business or in this retail business, when the customer gives you cash and there was no payment like Paytm or cards, in those days, it was mainly a cash transaction. Traditionally, in most businesses, it has been very important that the owner himself sits on the cash counter and takes this and does not give it to any staff or any manager, even so. Now, in any family, the number of family members is limited. You will have 5 members, 6 members, maximum 10 members if you are a big joint family like us. So if you put one family member at each store, you will only be able to open 10 stores. However, if your vision is to open 100 stores, how are you going to convince your parents who have been sitting at the cash counter for so many decades that now I will have to let go of cash and start looking at other most important areas of the business? This was the most challenging aspect. For the first 6 months, me and KU used to go and sit at the store, do the cash collection till midnight, close the store, come back home, go back next day morning 9, 10. And we, once we sit at the cash counter, we know what are the challenges, how the money will be, spent, and how to keep accounts. Once you develop a proper system for it, then we started putting the managers there in our place. And then we did not sit at the cash counter, and then there was still no money was missing from the end of the day cash tally. Of course, we have to take 2 or 3% of pilferage, which is normal, but at that cost, you cannot sacrifice your goal of having 100 outlets. This is something which was very critical, which we had to convince at the initial stages.
Acha, tell me, both of you have, like a graduate and postgraduate degree, while most of the attendees here, those who are attending, hundreds of the students here, we are on the Zoom platform, only 8 people are actually in the broadcasting studio, while all hundreds of them are in the audience. Now, most of them are commerce students. Now, one thing I tell you, as a commerce student, I'm never interested in the so-called lectures by the teachers, to be honestly. As a student, my only interest is in attendance. Tell me one thing, is attending so-called lectures by the teachers, veteran teachers, or maybe sometime new and young energetic teachers, really help in the business later on of the job?
So if this question is coming from a teacher, how can I say no?
I'm a student. I said as a student, I'm never interested. I said I
made asking me as a teacher.
No,
I think we should take this as a pinch of salt and say that any lecture is worth gaining some knowledge from. Like the person who is giving the lecture has so many years of experience. Whatever he will talk, it will be of some value. Now, when you talk about attendance, I think as in most decisions in life, it is about choosing what you want to do with your time. If you want to attend that lecture and feel that your 1 hour in that lecture is going to be more productive and value adding, you might do that. If you want to skip that lecture and then in that 1 hour, you are going to do some other value adding activity or project, which is going to help you become a better person in terms of your skills or your knowledge, I think that is okay. But then you have to make a choice. It's not just a question of whether 75% attendance लाने के लिए हम लोग ये कर रहे हैं. लेकिन वो 75% अटेंडेंस से हमको क्या सीखने मिला और आगे जाके क्या, because I can say this now at age of 37 and having been almost 15 years away from the classroom environment has a charm of its own. I mean, right now we are talking about a virtual environment, but when you were sitting on those benches with your friends and looking at teachers on a blackboard or presenter giving lectures, that is it is an experience of its own, and this experience you will not get after 5 years or after once you are done with your postgraduate, right? Then you will have different kind of sessions. You will have board meetings, you will have team meetings. You will not and those meetings come with an added pressure of delivering, otherwise your career might might suffer, you might not get promotion or whatever it is. These kind of sessions don't have that pressure on you, so the learning which will happen in these sessions will probably be much more when you don't have an extra pressure. So you should definitely make the most of it.
All right. Thank you very much. I think so. It was a wonderful session and meeting all of you. And thanks once again, and wish you all the best. And well, your dream comes true. 100 to 125 to 300, 400, and 500 over the period of time. And I'm also happy to know that when we interacted, you announced that those students who would like to do internship on a live project, maybe in the marketing area, franchise, distribution model, and even dispatches. Well, I'm announcing to the audience that those who are interested in doing internship of say 2 months, 3 months, or maybe smaller, a big period, do contact me. Please go ahead.
I have a special project for accounts as well, accounts and finance. So if anybody is interested, because this is a largely accounting audience, so I have a special project for accounts as well.
Yeah, those who are interested in internship, you will also have an opportunity to do internship in the fastest growing brand. Thank you very much, both of you, and the audience. Of course, I thank all of you, because when audience and interesting attendees and participants and my students are there, then well, it motivates us also to conduct programs such like this. And when we have a team headed by our Hardik Goel, and of course his supporting team, Hani Rathi and Ashish, Chas, and all other people, then this make this program even technologically better, so that viewing experience is almost as near to the industry visit. Thank you very much. Thank you very much once again. Hani, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your words of wisdom. And with this, we have come to the end of our event. I hope all of you had a wonderful time. I now request everyone to please rise for the national anthem.
भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा, विंध्य हिमालय यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा, तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मांगे, गाहे तव जय गाथा, जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे, जय 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 हे।